Buying a cheap car may always feel like the right move until your car is sitting on the side of the road, your repair bill is bigger than the car itself, and you're out Googling best used car loans at 2 o'clock in the morning. Today I'm going to explain why sometimes buying cheaper cars costs you more than the expensive ones in the long run, and how to avoid the costly mistakes people often make buying vehicles. So welcome back, guys. My name is Jeff, and if you've ever said, I'll buy something cheap to save money, this video might be perfect for you, because I've seen it time and time again with friends and family. They try to be financially responsible and they end up spending way more money than they anticipated. So we're going to break down why sometimes cheaper vehicles are actually the more expensive decision at the end of the day. On paper, lots of times people look at cars and think, well, cheap makes the most sense. It's the perfect option. You see something like a $3,000 car, a $5,000 car, $7,000 car. So now you have no payments, no financing. It feels more responsible at the end of the day. And you compare that with a $600 a month car payment, it feels like a huge win. What ends up happening is you're not buying cheap transportation, you're just going to buy yourself a risk lots of the time. Usually when something is for sale for super cheap, especially something like a vehicle where we see the prices go up every single day, you're buying yourself something with a worn out suspension, old brakes, hidden rust, tired transmission. They might have electrical gremlins. Most of the time they have engines with upwards of 250,000 kilometers. And the thing is, none of this stuff shows in your price tag. You don't see that it's broken down. You don't see that it's filled with a gremlin. Somebody is trying to ditch something cheap to make you think you're getting a good deal. A $4,000 car will quickly turn into $1,200 brake job, $800 to $1,000 worth of suspension work, $1,500 transmission problem. Sometimes like this truck back here, $4,000. You could have $600 electrical issues, things like that. Suddenly your cheap $4,000 car just costs you $8,000 to $10,000, and now you don't trust it at all. The real killer with all of this stuff isn't just the repairs, it's the unreliability. Now you just missed work, you have a tow bill, you have to get a rental car, tons of stress, which nobody needs more of in today's world. Every time your car breaks down, even if it's twice a year and it's costing you $500 each repair, plus your lost time, that's thousands of dollars over just a few short years. Cheap cars don't just drain your wallet, it's draining your time, it's draining your mental energy. Nobody needs that. So this is the biggest point where lots of people who buy cheap vehicles think that they're going to win, and they always end up getting stuck. Is they'll buy a cheap car, they'll break it. They go fix it, right? You think that's it. Fixed, it's all good to go. Then something else breaks. Then they get fed up with it and they just ditch it. They sell it, they get rid of it, they take it to the scrapyard, whatever they do. They get fed up, they go buy another car. Now in 5 years, you've just owned 3 cars, for example. Just spent $15,000 in vehicles. You still don't have a reliable vehicle. And all you had to do was buy one more expensive vehicle up front, would have saved you money. It's not frugal, it's just chaos at the end of the day. Now, one thing I want to make clear for anybody who might have the wrong idea at this point is I'm not saying go out and buy a brand new luxury, top of the line, fully loaded $100,000 car. But there is a sweet spot. What you want to try to look for is something that's 3 to 6 years old. It's something reliable. Look it up on the internet. Something with lower kilometers. If it still has life left in it, if you take it for a drive and it just seems comfortable, it seems reliable, it gives you that feeling that it's going to be decent, then make sure you have a reasonable insurance quote. Make sure your insurance isn't going to be insane, because that's another thing is people buy a vehicle, then get the quote and realize, well, now I have to get insurance for X number of dollars, and it's way more than it needed to be because they didn't shop around first. These cars that I just explained, they may cost you more upfront today, but over the next few years, it's going to cost you far less. Reliability is considered a financial asset in my mind. Something that you can count on to get you to and from work or to and from a sporting event or whatever you're doing without having to worry, that's worth $1 million in itself. So a real quick breakdown is, let's compare two people. Person A buys a cheap car for say $4,000 and they have to replace them every 2 to 3 years. Plus they spend about $2,000 in repairs each time. That's tires or something breaks down, a little bit of suspension work, a brake job, things like that. So now they just spent over 2 to 3 years about $15,000 to $20,000. They were stressed the whole time because they didn't know if their vehicle was going to start in the morning when they go to work or if it was going to get them home at the end of the day. And overall reliability, terrible reliability. Now if you take person B, for example, they go out and they buy themselves a $15,000 car. They pay cash or they finance it. $15,000 isn't a ton of money. They have minimal repairs. They can drive the same vehicle for 5+ years without any issues. And now at the end of the day, they may have spent the same amount of money or less even sometimes if you have a really lucky, reliable vehicle. Now you have high reliability, low stress. And you know what the difference is? One person planned ahead and the other reacted. That's the only difference. The only time I would say a cheap vehicle makes sense to buy for you is if you're a mechanic and you can fix it yourself. You have the tools, you have the time. You're somebody who doesn't rely on this vehicle daily to get you to and from work. You have a backup option if have a stay-at-home wife or stay-at-home husband or some other way to get around, or you can walk to work, things like that, where you have another reliable option for transportation. Go ahead, buy the cheap car, take the risk. You might get lucky, you might not. But if you're mechanically inclined, go ahead. If you're not mechanically inclined, a cheap car is a gamble, no different than going to the casino. And casinos aren't built on winners. So the smartest approach you can take is buy reliable, not cheap. Budget for maintenance. Even on a really good car, you have to budget for maintenance on a brand new vehicle. You have to pay for oil changes. You have to do wear and tear expenses, things like that. Avoid cars that you don't know the history on. If somebody says, oh, this was my grandmother's car, and you can verify that and it was owned by one person or whatever, that's great. If you can't verify the history of the car, be a little bit more cautious with something like that. And if you can, pay more upfront and you'll pay less later on usually. View reliability as something that's a financial decision, not a luxury. The goal at the end of the day is lower total cost over time, not lower upfront price. If you guys have ever been burnt or bought a cheap vehicle that turned into a money pit, drop it below. I'd love to hear some stories. I've done it. Everybody's done it, I'm sure, at some point, especially when you're younger and it's your only option. I would love to hear stories like that. I guarantee you guys aren't alone. I'm pretty sure everybody's done it, like I said. But if you guys want more financial content, more automotive content that actually helps make better decisions, hit subscribe. I got a bunch more coming down the pipeline here. And I'm going to try to teach you guys one thing at a time. And hopefully you guys can follow along, because cheap isn't always smart, and smart always wins in the long run.